Welcome back to Justice Pending. I'm Claire.
And I'm Susan.
Well, this is a case I have been wanting to talk about for a while now, Susan.
Oh,
This,
it's the case everyone's been talking about for a while now.
right? We have been watching it unfold in real time over the last few months. We're talking about the kidnapping of Nancy Guthrie in Tucson, Arizona.
Yes, and this case has obviously been all over the news since day one. It is truly high profile and involves someone who herself is in media. So, I mean, it
Yeah,
makes sense.
it's like an episode of Law and Order. Like that's really how I saw it playing out. This is scripted, right? You have Savannah Guthrie, a co-host on the Today Show, who's pleading for her mother's return. It's like this heart-wrenching scene that you feel wrong watching, but you also can't look away because it is so real.
I know. And it's really like, so many people feel so connected to her because she's in
Yes.
everyone's living rooms, daily. And
Yeah.
so you feel like you're part of it. Her mother is a recognizable figure who has been on the show. I mean,
Right.
it is like it's audacious.
It really is. So let's take it from the top and set the scene. I want to talk about the timeline, how this all went down, as far as we know.
Yes. Okay. So the last time anyone in Nancy's family saw her, it was around 9:50 p.m. on January 31st. And she was dropped off at her home in Tucson, Arizona by her son-in-law.
Yes. So she'd been over at a family member's house. They were having a good time. It was, I mean, I think almost 10 o'clock. I for an 84-year-old woman. I mean,
Mhm.
she's painting the town. She's living the life, right?
Yeah. And she's being escorted home.
Yes, yes. And so they see her go in, they see the garage door go down, and everything seems normal. Like they have no reason to suspect it's anything but another night where they've dropped off Nancy Guthrie into her home to go peacefully to sleep, right?
Exactly. Yeah. But then at 1:47 a.m., time stamped,
Yep.
something very unusual happened. Nancy's doorbell camera was disconnected, and I'm sure we're going to get into more about how they figured all of this out.
Yes, yes. So, yeah, the doorbell camera goes offline. And I mean, I have a doorbell camera, right? And sometimes it just randomly stops recording. Like this has happened to me before. And so it's not always necessarily something nefarious, but what's crazy is that it's about 30 minutes later, 2:12 a.m., when motion is detected at Nancy's front door. So you have it go off, and then you have this break, which is like kind of a significant amount of time, like 30 minutes. Like, what, are
Right.
they waiting around for 30 minutes before they actually go in? Are they doing other things? Um, but whatever the case, it's 2:12 whenever they pick up this motion from a disconnected camera,
Yeah.
right?
Impressive.
Um, it's all pretty interesting.
It is. Um, I she didn't famously now did not have an active subscription on the doorbell
Right.
camera, which is why we were watching when the world was watching this case unfold in real time, everyone was like, "Well, just check the camera footage."
Yep.
It's like it's not that easy when you don't have the subscription that's recording, that's backing up, so it was later recovered through cloud storage, and I think that was a painstakingly slow process, which is why none of this came to light until much later and after
Yeah.
authorities and, relative like the people who were supposed to be looking at this thing looked at it, that they then, brought it to light publicly. But I don't know if we should be impressed or concerned that they do actually keep the footage, even when don't have an active subscription. I personally think it's wonderful because I'm
Yeah.
not breaking into people's houses and stealing old ladies, but you know,
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think in this case, we have to look at it as a positive. I think the whole surveillance state, general, like, Big Brother worries, how could this, potentially be misused by people in power and authority, definitely has other implications, but in this case, we are quite glad that this footage does exist because we see someone on camera. We
Yeah.
see someone poking around Nancy Guthrie's front door, and they're obviously not supposed to be there. They're obviously up to no good. They're wearing a face mask, gloves. There's a gun visible on a holster. So, I mean, this is the stuff of nightmares.
It really is. Just to comment on the gun for a moment,
Yeah,
a lot of people pointed out that that gun was clearly not in the right spot, like
right,
holstered in the right spot. No, I think so they basically surmise that this is not someone professional or even, I don't know, with a great thinking working IQ, because who would put a gun in your basically where you could shoot off your body parts?
right, right,
And so that was sort of a tell of the type of person this was. Clearly, I mean, this person's gotten away with it so far. So,
right.
but the fact that the gun did not match the holster, I believe, and
Yes.
it was clearly placed improperly on the body. I mean, was it even loaded? We don't know. It could have
Yeah.
been, just for show and a scare tactic.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this person doesn't come across, at least in this video, like a skilled criminal mastermind. They look like this average sort of person. And the FBI has actually said the suspect appears to be male, 5'9" or 5'10", and apparently shops at Walmart. Like, could this be a more vanilla average height,
Yeah.
just, shopping at one of the big box stores because the backpack, right, is Ozark Trail, which is sold in Walmart. And so, I mean, there's just really not much to go on. Like, the idea that we're looking for every white male who shops at Walmart and his average height, like, will
I mean,
never get to the bottom of that suspect list.
yeah. I mean, that's a hard one. And so I think they were really, really hoping for DNA. Now, what he did
Yes.
was he truly masked himself. His eyes are visible, but
Yep.
it's not like you can get a retinal scan from a cloud restored video feed, so it's
Yeah.
yeah, and no one has come forward that I'm aware of that has been, waving their arms and said, I know who it is. This person, has those eyes, no one's
Right. Or
like you
carries a
said,
backpack
very.
like that or has a coat like that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's not, I mean, there's not really a whole lot to go on, unfortunately.
Yeah. It makes me think of like Luigi Mangione, right? Our very first episode, Susan.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
Well, no, I mean,
yeah.
he made a fatal mistake. I
Yep.
mean, in so many ways, in so many
Yeah. One
usages
of
of that
many
phrase.
fatal mistakes. Yeah.
One of many but, he, was masked and then let his guard down
Yep.
when in checking into that hostel. So,
Yep.
unfortunately, we don't have we don't have his movement, you know,
Right.
throughout.
Right. Yeah, we don't have any and yeah, the idea that potentially maybe they do have some type of unknown DNA, but if this person hasn't committed a crime before,
Right.
guess what? They're not in the system.
That's right.
And based on the way that gun is holstered, people really wonder if this is anyone who's ever, has a criminal record. Of course, you don't need a gun to commit a crime, so that's, it's possible. But okay, let's talk about the next data point in the timeline. We've got 2:28 a.m. So this is about 15 minutes after the image appears in the doorbell camera. Nancy's pacemaker app disconnects from her phone. I mean, this sounds like she's left the house, right? Is that what you're thinking too?
Yeah, it sounds like she's gone, there's no Bluetooth connection,
Yep.
and the phone was left behind.
Yes, yes, her phone, her purse, this is all at home, right?
Mhm.
So, this is the last data point that we have from Nancy's house and really in the investigation. And so, all of this plays out overnight. Nancy's family has no idea anything is wrong. until the next day, Sunday, February 1st.
That's right. So then the alarm bells start going off because Nancy was going to watch a live streamed church service with a friend and she never arrived. The friend was the one who notified other, family members.
Right. So the same family members who dropped her off the night before, they come back to the house. They live nearby, right? And they're checking on her. And within minutes, they're calling 911 because they can tell something really bad has happened at this house. Like she's missing and it looks very suspicious.
It does. And she's 84. Some
Yep.
people might think, oh, well, does she have some form of dementia? Did she wander off?
Yep.
No, she
Yep.
was, had her wits about her. And yes, she was 84, but like she had her wits about her. So,
Yeah.
it's not like she's going to wander off. Most people that age who go missing are really not kidnap victims, but it was pretty
Yeah.
obvious in this case that that's what happened.
Yes. I mean, the fact that she left her purse, her keys, her cell phone, you get the silver alerts, you see where this car is just missing because someone has taken off and then forgotten where they're going and, they're driving in their car, but they're not leaving on foot in the middle of the night in the desert. This is totally foul play here and it's just on the surface level, when it first started to come out, like when I was seeing these headlines, I was like, "Oh, that's so sad. Nancy Guthrie's mom got confused and lost in her neighborhood, right? And they're gonna find her." Like it was kind of this early, super early headline that made it seem like maybe it wasn't foul play, but pretty soon after, they start saying something something went wrong at Nancy's house and we're going to do an all-out search for her.
Yeah, the search happened pretty darn quickly, I
Yes,
think.
it did.
I mean, that's wonderful. But like you said, at first you're like, "Oh, okay, you're gonna search, concentric circles and kind of like
Yeah.
hope to find her maybe dehydrated on the side of a road," but no,
Yep.
like this was yeah, so this is not the case.
Yeah. Yeah, they sent out drones, search dogs, the
Yeah,
whole 9 yards. If she had been outdoors, I believe she would have been found. I mean, this is Arizona. We're not talking about like dense forests where there's
right.
lots of places to hide. It would have been a matter of time for them to find her outdoors. One would think there's just not a lot of places to hide.
That's right. And, it is odd, it is like, I remember thinking this can't be real, like, someone
Yeah.
kidnapped this 84 this poor Savannah Guthrie's mom, like, I mean,
Yes.
you can't help but think that it's Savannah who's the actual target of it to, like, get her
Yes.
attention,
Yeah.
but, it's like, that's really going out on a limb to do that to an older woman.
Yes, yes. I mean, it's the next day authorities officially announce
Yeah,
that they suspect foul play, that this is a possible kidnapping. And, a little skepticism is a good thing. Like in the
yeah,
true crime world, you always want to just take a minute. But I mean, once they were able to confirm that her blood had been found on the front porch, like
yeah.
Nancy Guthrie's blood, it was just all too real at that moment. And I mean, you just so feel for this family. This is like an absolute nightmare. I think we all have like an elderly relative who's living alone, right? And who we worry about. But what you worry about is like them falling down,
That's
right?
right.
You don't think like this is like really extreme.
Yeah, and I do wonder how they were so able to piece together the guy arriving, but then there's nothing leaving. I don't know. I
Yeah, I
feel like
know. Yeah, people have often brought up that like we don't know how they left, when they left, like is there, a car, like one would think it's some kind of car, but we don't have it captured on video anywhere. We don't have a description of this suspect vehicle. It's really strange. You really wonder how that could be. I mean, it is like the neighborhood, you've seen it that the lots are spread out. They're not like they're just packed in there like some neighborhoods where if you pull up to a neighbor's house, 3 or 4 different houses are going to have an angle.
That's right.
Not really the case here, but,
I know,
um,
but, like, the ro on the road, it's
I
some
know.
yeah, I know.
Yep.
It's
You would think somewhere a license plate scanner,
yeah.
yeah, an intersection camera, red light cameras, right? Those are big. At least in
Mhm.
Texas. I don't know about Arizona, but yeah, so just gone without a trace after that 2 a.m. timestamp. That's really the last that they know. And then the ransom notes start coming in.
The ransom notes. So my first reaction to this was that someone was trying to make a buck because it came into TMZ,
Yes.
and I just thought that was a strange it actually fit if you were trying to get someone's attention and this was a almost like a prank that went wrong to
Yeah.
get someone's attention or to make a buck, but I don't know. I remain very torn on if it was the actual kidnapper or kidnappers,
Right.
or if it was someone just taking advantage of the situation.
I know. I really want it to be the kidnappers asking for the ransom because
Right.
then, like, we have a connection, we have a clue, we have somewhere to go, and it's not this total distraction, red herring situation. But it seems more likely that it's like an opportunist who's out there looking at this situation, thinking, you know what? I could get some untraceable Bitcoin out of this unbelievable tragedy. And yeah, TMZ. I mean, of all places.
Yeah. I mean, that's just not again, I'm not the type of person who would kidnap an old lady. However,
Right.
I just, like, would never that would not be my first stop of, like,
Yeah.
TMZ. I don't know. I it just wouldn't be.
It really plays into the theory that people want attention for this. That
Yeah.
attention, if you go down the line of thinking that this is the actual kidnapper, TMZ, that's definitely going to get publicity with that. A lot of times, if you send in a ransom to the police or to the family, it never gets publicized because it's considered part of this investigation and not something that's going to go public. Um, but I've been thinking a lot about this case. I
I
I
know
do
you have.
have some theories.
I'm sure you do, and I can't wait to hear what they are.
Okay, so I mean I've talked about this with a lot of people. I was just in Missouri for a true crime conference and I was, on a panel with like an ex Homeland Security guy and we were trading theories and
Love it.
from the beginning I felt like the fact that Savannah Guthrie was on television was part of the appeal.
Mhm.
My theory is that the kidnapper is like a very online person. I think of them like living on Reddit threads and keeping the TV turned on 24/7 with news. I think they watch all 4 hours of the Today Show. I think that this is like a staple of their routine, and this kind of line between reality and television is just blurred for them.
Hmm. Okay, I'm with you so far.
Okay.
Don't
So
disagree.
I also think that they live in the Tucson area. I don't think they traveled in for this. I think that they are local and the idea that Nancy Guthrie lives in this area is what makes it an appealing crime, like this crime of opportunity for them. I think that they got obsessed with planning like the perfect crime, and when I say perfect, I don't just mean that they get away with it, but for this person, I think the high profile nature was part of the challenge. I think they wanted to see coverage of the crime play out on television, specifically the Today Show, and that it was part of their sick pleasure and motivation for choosing Nancy Guthrie, knowing that her daughter was going to talk about her own mother's kidnapping.
Right, like, you control the news at that point when you have been the perpetrator of the crime.
Yes, and we've seen this with other, with serial killers, with other psychopaths, narcissists, where they really want to see media coverage of their crime. It's like part of their psychology is that this is like what makes it real and what makes it appealing to them to get this yeah, like you said, like they're in control. They're kind of this puppet master.
Mhm.
And I don't know, it's so weird because why Nancy Guthrie's mom? Like it doesn't make a whole lot of sense unless this person just lives in Tucson. And so that's who they have access to the most readily. And that's why I think that they have this specific profile, these tendencies, and they're also living in Tucson. So,
Right. It also that would feed directly into going to TMZ with the ransom note twice.
right. Right. Yes. And we know that the suspect did surveillance on Nancy's house 3 weeks before the crime. So it was planned, it was rehearsed. It was something that they, were able to visit this site who knows how many times.
Well, wait,
But it
I
was,
had one question.
yeah,
So, when you say planned rehearsed,
yeah,
I agree with you, but then we all saw the footage of the guy going up to the camera, looking a little dumbfounded, thinking, "Oh shoot, I didn't bring any." Goes and gets flowers to try to
yep.
cover the camera. I mean, so how do you think that was like nerves,
I
stage
do.
fright?
I mean, every criminal, no matter how much they think they're going to do this to a T, there's always the mistake. There's
Mhm.
always the flub. There's always, talking about Brian Kohnberger and the knife sheath, right? There's always
Right,
somebody,
right.
something, that trips them up. And so I think it was a slip. I do think that this person had gone and done dry runs before, and there's some evidence to that effect that they,
Yep.
believe that that happened. And so I think that, yeah, forgetting to cover the camera initially, grabbing that plant, so weird. But I do think that that was the dumb criminal mistake in the midst of what ends up being a very, um, carefully orchestrated escape.
Yeah,
We still don't know who this person is or how they got away. They got Nancy out of this house undetected,
right.
and this is just kind of unfathomable that they're able to do this and no one sees what they're doing and there's no digital trail.
Right. I mean, they did say the Bitcoin accounts that were used, sent to TMZ to fund were actual accounts, but I
Yeah.
don't think it went anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, from what I've, gleaned, it doesn't seem that law enforcement believes that the ransom requests are from the actual kidnapper. Of course, the person making the request says, "I'm not the kidnapper, but I just have information, right? I
Right,
know about it."
right,
So,
right.
I mean, it's all very convoluted. And I mean, I was talking to another author, Jonathan Walton, who said that, he thinks that the ransom's completely unrelated and that the kidnapper just set out to cause chaos and that they were ready, prepared to kill Nancy Guthrie, that they weren't trying to get anything out of it. Um, so, I mean, I think we can say that this kidnapper um, went in according to plan, got her out according to plan, and then I think it went off the rails. I think they realized they were not prepared to hold this woman captive or do whatever they needed to do to execute the next part of their plan. I keep saying they, but I don't actually think it's a group. I see this as a lone wolf, just because it's really hard to convince people to do anything to go
Right.
along with any plan you have, to go out to dinner, right? To get a group of people to agree to do anything is a challenge, but you're talking about committing a capital offense. The
Yeah.
idea that it would be a group crime and we still wouldn't know about it, to me, slim to none. I say it's a single actor doing this. And I think that they didn't plan on Nancy's particular health situation. So I think they didn't know that she needed to take this medication regularly. And my theory is that she died pretty quickly after the kidnapping.
Hmm.
And I think that they panicked. I think that they were trying to see an exit strategy to figure out what to do. They couldn't provide a proof of life to get anything out of this, if indeed that was their idea to get something out of it, you typically need to prove that you really are who you say you are and that this person's alive. And if they were the person making this ransom claim with Bitcoin, um, they could prove it by showing Nancy Guthrie an image, right? Somehow proving that she's alive, her voice, anything. But they don't do this, and so the idea that she died soon after, I think um, that at that point, the suspect is at their end. I think that
Hmm.
they realize that there's no way for this to end for them well, and so I have a theory that they then took their own life. I think that
Interesting.
they're both dead, Susan.
You think
That's
okay.
yeah.
The grant you think the ultimate reveal on this case is that one day we will find 2 deceased bodies somewhere.
Yes, yeah, my theory is that both Nancy and the suspect are dead, and I think that they're in the same location. I think that after Nancy died, as a result of her injuries sustained in the kidnapping and due to the fact that she didn't have access to her medication, I think a few days later, he killed himself.
I see.
I think part of the suspect profile here is that he doesn't pay rent. I don't think he's has bills. I don't think he has like a way for people to realize that he's no longer alive. I think that like this is like an inherited house situation.
Huh. You have
Like
done so much thinking about this.
I have. Well, I mean, so many
Wow.
cases, right? So many
Yeah,
cases
yeah,
I've
yeah.
covered and so many different types of people who commit these kinds of crimes. And in my mind, there's no bills due. No one's noticing this guy's dropped off the radar because he's not on anyone's radar. Like, this
Right.
is a lone wolf Reddit guy living in a paid off house. So, my theory is that we're going to find both of them when it starts to get really hot in Arizona,
Huh.
or possibly, when property taxes are due again. I think that this explains why we aren't hearing anything.
Yeah, because
Um,
we really haven't been hearing anything. Now, given that this guy wanted to control the narrative, probably didn't have a history, it might, I agree with you, like a Reddit kind of person.
yeah,
Do you think he left a yet to be found final memento?
like a confession.
Oh, yeah, or something, cryptic.
I hope that there's at least a note, right? Like at least something, but in my mind, I don't see that. I see
I
that
mean on Reddit though, by the way. So
oh,
like
on Reddit.
yeah,
Ooh.
like almost like
Ooh.
his last like playing with us, like, "Oh,
Yeah.
it's out there, you guys just didn't find it," kinda
I,
thing.
I I would definitely, if I was in on this investigation, I would be scouring Reddit threads looking for profiles that were very active prior to this and have
But
since
no
gone
longer
dark.
yeah,
But I agree with you. I think that it would be part of this MO of this suspect that I imagine that I have theorized here. Um,
mhm.
to leave a final taunting message in cryptic. I think so. Online. Yeah, online for sure. I mean, we are all waiting for some type of news in this case. The FBI, says that they're continuing to follow up on leads. And I think we've seen lots of evidence that they're very active, have a lot of people dedicated to this case. They've questioned numerous people. There was even someone like detained around the border of Mexico, right?
Yeah,
But nothing has led to an arrest. And Savannah Guthrie returned to the Today Show on April 6th and continues to plead for her mother's safe return in videos where she addresses the kidnapper. It's
yeah,
just it's like all she can do. I mean, you have to really just feel for her that she's like if I'm on camera and I have this platform and I can do anything to help my mom, I'm going to do it
of
even as
course.
painful as it is. Yeah.
I mean, of course, I give her so much credit for sitting there and doing the Today Show, ever
Oh, I
showing
know.
just showing up and trying to be normal.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean,
Definitely.
the thing I will say, and it's not a critique because I know, people get advice from all kinds of law enforcement in various ways, but I wonder why that $1,000,000 reward that she is now offering didn't come quicker.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's quite possible that law enforcement cautioned against that, that they
Yeah,
felt like, it would just bring out the crazies and
yeah,
lots of tips that were going to send them in the wrong direction. It's hard to know, but it's out there now, that the family's offering a $1,000,000 reward, and the FBI Phoenix office said anyone with firsthand knowledge, direct quote, of Guthrie's whereabouts should contact the FBI tip line at 1-800 call FBI.
yes. I mean, we just remain very hopeful, for Nancy and
Yes.
on behalf of everyone who is an unresolved missing persons case out there.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
it's too often that we're talking about these well, I guess that is the whole basis of this show, but it
Right.
is, unfortunate that there are endless episodes we can do on Justice Pending,
It's
but
so true. I mean, these cases, you you want to keep talking about them so that people remember them, so that someone who knows something says something, comes forward. And that's really what, Savannah Guthrie has put in many of her messages is thank you for thinking about my mom and for remembering her and for um, continuing to talk about this case because we want answers and we know that those answers are going to come from someone out there who's
right,
potentially listening to this, right? And
that's right.
so it just continues to be a mission to talk about this case and to remind people that it is still unsolved. So yeah, thanks for joining us on another episode of Justice Pending. We'll be back next week with an all new case.